Hello and welcome to Nightwater. My name is Adam Cecil. I write Nightwater, which is typically an email newsletter that comes out once a week on Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern, quenching that thirst for late night content. If you are not already a subscriber, you can go sign up now at nightwater.email. So this week, I'm trying something brand new. It's an audio version of the newsletter, and joining me for this inaugural outing is Patrick Inferna. Patrick is joining us to talk about a new men's soccer team that he co-founded called Vermont Green Football Club. You may also know Patrick from his on-camera work at Copa 90, where he was a presenter and producer, or from past Nightwater posts where I asked him about his Animal Crossing island and investigated what he remembered from the film Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Fun fact, Patrick was also the first subscriber to Nightwater, just a little flex for him that I'll throw in here in the intro. When I talked to Patrick, his apartment was the shipping center for Vermont Green FC merch, so you might hear some tape being pulled and some shuffling around. You know, if that's annoying, there's also a transcript of this conversation at nightwater.email. All right, let's get into it. Patrick Inferna, welcome to the Nightwater, inaugural Nightwater audio companion podcast show, whatever it might be called in the future. Thanks for joining.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I'm a big Nightwater fan. Everyone knows this.
Can I ask straight up, just who are you and what is your deal?
My name is Patrick Inferna. I am a co-founder of Vermont Green Football Club. I think that's the most relevant thing about me at this current moment. I live in Burlington, Vermont, and you and I went to middle school together.
We also went to high school together. Don't sell it short.
Yeah. And we've been in a group chat together for like 20 years. So,
can you tell me just what is Vermont Green Football Club? Yeah.
So Vermont Green Football Club is a we're calling it pre-professional soccer team launching in May of 2022 in USL's League Two in the fourth tier of American soccer. Pre-professional is the term used because it's the players that will be playing for the team are going to be primarily, not all, but primarily collegiate NCAA eligible players that are playing in a sanctioned off season. For anyone who might not know, these NCAA players can't play professionally in their off season because it would mess with their NCAA eligibility. So that's mostly where we're at. It's players that are either collegiate or even younger. We have intention of working with some local high school players that want to continue their development in their what is their kind of school off season on a path to eventually professional contracts, wherever that may be. So Vermont Green is a team that was co-founded by myself and a few friends. We'll be playing at playing in Burlington, Vermont at University of Vermont's Virtue Field. It's their soccer stadium. Really nice, kind of constantly updating stadium. Awesome facility. And what else? On top of being a sporting entity, maybe even more importantly, we're trying to be a staple member of the Vermont community, and we're prioritizing environmental sustainability and environmental justice into kind of all of our club operations and club culture. And that's going to be a massive part of our identity going forward. You know, it's not going to just be a sports team that fields 11 players and tries to win trophies. You know, we're going to certainly do that, but also we're going to try to have a lasting impact where we play and try to have a lasting influence on the greater U.S. and international soccer community.
How did you end up getting involved and kind of where did the idea for this team kind of percolate?
Yeah, so me personally, I got a call, I guess, what year is it? 2021, summer of 2020. I got a call from an old colleague of mine named Burke who said he needed to connect me with a fellow named Matthew Wolf, who had this idea of starting a pre-professional, eventually maybe professional soccer team in Burlington, Vermont. Matt is a pretty well-known and very well accomplished, although he's a very humble guy. He wouldn't describe himself in the same way, but very well accomplished graphic designer and artist. He's done work with Nike. He's done work with the Nigeria national team, plenty of U.S. soccer, Major League Soccer, USL clubs. Really talented guy, and I was connected with him, and he had this bigger idea with him and a few of his friends that are all now my friends to start this club. And it's been, I guess it was 18 months between when they kind of conjured up the idea and when we officially launched on October 12th. We're really looking forward to 2022, and it's in the context of that we're in with time, it is fast approaching and really just around the corner.
What does it actually mean to like build a football club, like especially here in the United States, where I mean I think you alluded to this a little bit. You're building in, what do you say, the fourth tier of American soccer. A lot of people don't even realize there's more than one tier of American soccer. So really curious, like, to you, like, what does that mean? Like, how are you getting involved in the community? Like, how do you build that brand when it's kind of just in this landscape?
Totally. Well, firstly, it's like, maybe this is like a cliche to say, but it's so much of a kind of learn as you go type of thing. We've got really talented folks behind the scenes in the group of co-founders with experience from all over kind of the soccer industry, be it media, be it in partnerships, art, all of these really well connected guys that are still, all of us, we're all very much like kind of being like, okay, every day is a learning experience, because soccer in general, I think is kind of a blank canvas for a lot of people in this country. And for us specifically here in Burlington and in the state of Vermont, which is, in my opinion, and maybe you would agree, a kind of relatively kind of entertainment starved area. I think that, Burlington has the minor league baseball Lake Monsters, and there's a minor league baseball team in Montpelier. But as far as sports entertainment goes, there really isn't much outside of collegiate. UVM is great Division I sports across the board. It's really awesome. Obviously, I like spectating there as well. But there's nothing that isn't collegiate. So we're just kind of excited to like kind of have this kind of double-edged blank canvas of U.S. soccer in general, but also right here in the Vermont market to kind of, come up with this new idea. Like I said, we're all very experienced in kind of the business and the media of U.S. soccer, but none of us have ever built a club. Well, I guess that's not totally true. Colin's worked on one of our members has worked on LAFC and kind of built that from scratch. But in this kind of territory where it's like, we're the, it's where there's no primary millionaire, billionaire owner. It's all kind of coming out of our minds and seeing how we can kind of do things differently. And I think that's kind of the big idea here is there's Division IV clubs everywhere. USL League 2, I'll give a little background on that. It's a pre-professional league. There's teams all over. They compete in regional formats, but a lot of them are, they're connected to youth teams and things like that. So what we're trying to do is we want to build a pre-professional club with a professional mindset. We want to take ourselves very seriously. We want to take our mission very seriously. And we want to, like I said earlier, we want to become a staple in the community here. And that involves, working with the local soccer leagues, that involves working with, the environmental justice and environmental activist groups here in Vermont, and kind of building a platform for kind of all of these ideas to come together through soccer.
You guys have a lot of language about, environmental justice being, the Vermont green part of it being environmentally conscious. I know with all your merch as well. In what ways are you taking that mission and making it like a core part of the way your club operates?
The initial ways, like you said, is really in the merchandise. We have a chief purpose officer by the name of Keel Corey, who is a very accomplished environmental sustainability consultant, who really is guiding us through making sure we hold ourselves again to a really high standard. With the merch, it's all either recyclable or otherwise sustainably sourced gear. Most of it is from a brand called Recover, but we really are trying to make sure, that we promote this kind of environmental sustainability message, but also this kind of this optimistic approach to the current climate of these issues. We have big goals of trying to do our merchandise just differently, whether that's in how it's created, how it's packed, how it's shipped, how down the line, if we could do something circular where people are returning their merchandise, in exchange for new merchandise in this way. But yeah, I think it's mostly just about building a club that, and this kind of goes into the idea that we're building something very Vermont focused. We're in a place where there's so much infrastructure built for this kind of environmental sustainability approach to everything. Our initial approach to kind of this environmentally sustainable football club is something that we, I think that we very much consider ourselves in kind of the vanguard of sports organizations starting to be more conscious in this way. And we hope that doing it at this level, at a relatively small operation to start in Division 4, we can kind of find out the things we need to find out, make the mistakes we need to make, that we can kind of lead the way and hopefully advise other clubs, be it in soccer and USL or even more broadly in sports in general, to kind of start rethinking how they operate and where are they wasting and where are they kind of having a negative impact on the environment. Like this is all like I said, this environmentally optimistic kind of standpoint. We want to encourage ourselves and therefore everyone kind of around us to try to be that much better, so that we can all kind of improve. And it's not about the kind of doomsday mentality of like, this is where we need to be by this point or we're all going to die. It's like, how can we all make sure we spend that little bit extra energy and that little bit extra time to be better for ourselves, for the environment, and for the entire planet's future.
You're in Vermont. Curious, if someone reading this or listening to this is in Vermont, how can they get involved, help out?
Yeah, I mean, I think firstly, anyone that's in Vermont or not in Vermont that is interested in the project, that's interested in coming to games, interested in getting merch or whatever it may be, contact us through any of our social media platforms or from the sign up on the website to be on our email list, and you can contact the club account, club@vermontgreenfc.com. We are, like I said earlier, we are listening and speaking to anyone that wants to, because we need to get as many people involved as possible, prioritizing Vermonters right here in our backyard. But again, this is a project that is based here in Burlington, based here in the state of Vermont, but it really, we want it to have international appeal, international kind of interest. So really it's just reach out. There's going to be, once 2022 hits, it's going to be kind of all hands on deck, and it's just going to get really crazy really quick. I think we've got technical staff, coaches being announced in the coming weeks and months. We've still got, apparel, like team apparel to be announced. We've got, jerseys coming down the line. We've got more merchandise. We've got more initiatives here in our local area. And it's just going to be, again, anyone that wants to contribute, anyone that wants to be a part is more than welcome to reach out, and more than likely we'll have a way that we can collaborate. And that's the fun part of all this. It's lower division to start, but like I said, we're treating this as a very serious, very professional entity, and we want to make sure it reflects the community in the best way possible.
Have you signed anybody?
No one's signed yet, but we are going to have a lot on the sporting end coming out late 2021 and a lot in early 2022. And we're very excited about, I should say this, we're very excited about the player pool that exists in Vermont. I think because of the lack of semi-professional and professional clubs, you have Montreal and you have New England and you have New York, but this is kind of like an isolated area. There's a lot of talented players, a lot of very quality youth clubs. And I think we're going to be able to do some really cool things with a good portion of local homegrown Vermont players. And that's another big part of this that I think I didn't even really touch on. Vermont is a soccer state. Burlington is a soccer city. Chittenden County is a soccer county. There's a lot of soccer being played. There are people from all over the world, all bringing their own personal kind of approach to the game. And I think Vermont Green can be kind of a medium for all of that. And I think we can develop our own unique style of football amongst, everything else that we want to do in the community, everything we want to do as a club off the pitch. I can't state enough how excited I am for what we can possibly do on the field. I think there's for me personally, like, I've always been kind of in the culture side of the game. I was never a good player. I've been around soccer, and that's kind of where I thrive. So that's kind of where my head is. But I'm finding even now my own newfound appreciation for the sport itself, just based on kind of what we can build here with Vermont players. And I think that's a very cool thing, and another privilege that I feel we have as a club, to serve the community by giving a platform for our own local players.
I love that. A lot of people don't think of Vermont as a particularly diverse, or bringing in people from outside of the state. I think, and that is pretty true all around. But to your point, there's a lot of colleges, a lot of college level ball being played, and then in Burlington, the largest metropolitan, really the only metropolitan area in Vermont, there's a lot of immigrants, a lot of people coming from outside the state, outside the country, and that feels like a really great place, for a really great backyard for this team.
Definitely. And to add to that, I coached middle school soccer this fall in Burlington's New North End, and it was both a pleasure to do so, because it was fun to work with the kids and have that experience, but also just to get another kind of angle and look at the thirst for the game here, be it from kids, born here in Burlington, kids, born in all over the globe, just there's a unity that comes with this game, and it's almost a cliche at this point, but it really does bring people together. And I'm really interested and encouraged, and I can't wait to see kind of the ways that manifests at the level that Vermont Green wants to be playing at, and that's both on the pitch and in the stands. I think really capturing the spirit of Vermont, and like you said, I think people don't always really associate Vermont with that type of diversity and that type of just makeup, and I think people will be as excited as we are to see that kind of manifest within our club.
I was just gonna ask, unrelated to VGFC, what's your ideal kind of late night vibe?
My ideal late night vibe is just being in a room full of people that I dig and want to be around, listening to music, chilling, talking about whatever, and eventually falling asleep. Maybe a fun drink, maybe a nice pizza.
What's a fun drink to you, just to clarify for the listeners who might jump to conclusions?
Geez, a fun drink. Non-alcoholic, maybe like an iced mate. Maybe just straight up cold water. Maybe if I'm really feeling reckless, like a vanilla Coca-Cola, also known as vanilla Coke.
That's all good. I mean, I fully support just like a nice glass of cold water at night. Well, Patrick, thank you for joining the Nightwater audio, whatever this is. And we wish you and Vermont Green FC the most success.
Thank you so much, Adam. Pleasure to be here. Can't wait to read this and maybe listen to it if you edit all my bogusness. And I will continue to have a 5-star Nightwater opening rating, and so should the listeners.
Hey, thank you for listening. That is the end of the conversation, but you can find more about Vermont Green Football Club at vermontgreenfc.com. And you can find Patrick on Twitter at pinfurna with an underscore at the end. That's PINFURNA_. And in case you missed it, you can find Nightwater at nightwater.email for weekly-ish posts about everything from the fake hospital where Cabbage Patch Kids are born to the late-night vibes on the Acela train. Our theme song this week was Sweaty Wizards by Night Vikings. And if you're listening to this, I assume you like podcasts. I helped produce 2 fiction shows that you might like that you should go check out. Milky Way Underground, which is a fantasy series for young adults, and The Non-Binary Carrie Bradshaw, which is a romantic comedy drama inspired by Sex and the City. You can find both of those on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or honestly, just Google them. We've got pretty good SEO across the board.
I'm botching the audio portion of this. I'm really looking forward to the written piece.